Hello guys, my name's Sky and my husband is Tyson. Not using fake names because we are neither famous nor rich. We are pretty middle-class people living in a fairly populated suburb near a city. Anyway, today I will tell you about my crazy mother-in-law Jill. Let me just start by saying this. Jill was not thrilled to have me in her son's life. Any ideas why? Well, this woman wanted him to marry her best friend's daughter. She always talked about it like it was something destined to happen. She told me, "You know what, Sky? You were just a temporary spot in Tyson's life. My best friend's daughter, Samantha, is his life partner. They grew up together and are thick as thieves." Samantha? Is this the same woman who has been harassing him on social media and in public? I'm pretty sure Tyson wants her nowhere near him now. It's just a silly misunderstanding they had because of you. I am pretty sure you made Tyson blow everything out of proportion. He listened to you and overreacted. Are you going to just ignore the fact that she tried to forcefully kiss him at a party? This is assault, if you are not aware of it, and it's definitely not okay. Oh well, Samantha got a little excited. She does love Tyson a lot. If you weren't being so publicly affectionate with Tyson, she wouldn't have done that. Plus, it's not even a big deal. Tyson and Samantha are meant to be with each other. Just wait. I'm pretty sure Tyson will cheat on you. It is just a matter of time. I can tell that you won't be able to keep him. Yes, it was incredibly bizarre. I'm not one of those women who save nasty people just because they are family. The first thing I did was tell Tyson everything. As usual, he was furious and confronted Jill about it. The fact that Jill cared nothing about her son getting assaulted should have been a major red flag, and trust me, it was for me. But Tyson had a hard time letting his mom go. His brother Brian also advocated for his mother and begged us to forgive her every time, so we were stuck in the cycle of forgiving Jill and her doing something stupid again. The last straw was at our wedding. Jill brought Samantha to the wedding as her +1. When she asked for a +1, I was skeptical. Tyson's father was never in the picture and we didn't know that she was dating anyone. Tyson didn't want to fight with his mom on this, so she was granted a +1. Who knew that she would bring Samantha with her? She was thrown out, of course. Both Samantha and Jill were thrown out. After that, we went low contact with Jill. We were still paying her rent because she took a lower paying job. But Jill was banned from our house and wasn't allowed to contact us except for emergencies. She didn't like that, and so didn't Brian. Brian said, "Guys, can you not do this to Mom, please? Look, I know she made a mistake, but she is still your mom, Tyson. She has been crying and missing you." There is no use crying now. She should have considered these consequences when she repeatedly kept crossing our boundaries. She even refused to take the Samantha incident seriously. I get it, Sky, but seriously though, I'm sure she will never repeat this. You guys gave me a house key for emergencies while you won't give her one. How will she help you when I am not around? My sister has a key too, so that's not a problem at all. Okay, then at least her visit sometime. Talk to her when she calls. Come on, guys. She doesn't deserve this treatment. Brian did his best to argue on behalf of his mom, but Tyson had enough and shut him down. Since Tyson is supporting Brian through college, he didn't make much trouble. He was scared of pissing off his brother. Anyway, we thought that the issue had been solved. For a month, there was some peace, but soon something strange began to happen. For about 2 months, both me and Tyson found unknown lingerie around the house. Now, anyone in this situation would immediately doubt their spouses, but we knew better than that. At first, we were annoyed at it, but then we were seriously concerned. Someone had been coming into the house and leaving out these things purposely. Our first suspects were my sister and Brian, but they both had their own apartments and didn't need to use ours for any recreational activities. Then my mind immediately went to Jill. I told Tyson, I have a bad feeling that Jill is somehow involved in this. What are you saying, Sky? Mom doesn't have access to our house, and she had no way to come inside. Don't be ridiculous. She had tried to make me believe that you were cheating on me. She has tried the same trick on you too, Tyson. Besides, she knows our schedules well and knows when to come to not get caught. I don't know, Sky. It seems like a bad suspicion. Mom has respected our boundaries so far. There is no way she would do something so childish. No matter how much in denial Tyson was, I was almost sure that Jill was behind this. I was angry at her for trying to mess up my marriage again and making me feel creeped out in my own home. Anyway, since I didn't have any concrete evidence, I let it go. I needed to get some more evidence before cutting Jill out of our lives for good. I got the chance to catch Jill only a week after this conversation. You see, I was scheduled to go on a girls' vacation with my friends. Very few people knew about it. Tyson would be alone at home with Brian, joining him between classes. The whole trip was planned and I was looking forward to it. But tragedy struck one of my friends and we had to cancel the plan. I am not going to reveal what happened due to privacy reasons, but I will say that there was no way we could go. So me and Tyson ended up cuddling on the couch while watching TV. He was happy that he didn't have to stay away from me for 2 weeks. Anyway, when we were about to have dinner, I got a call from Jill. I wanted to hang up, but remembered that she hadn't called me once in the past few months, so I genuinely thought that it might be an emergency. I put her on speaker and hushed Tyson. As I picked up, I immediately heard Jill crying. She said, "Sky, I'm so sorry I'm disturbing you at this unholy hour. There is something really important that I want to tell you." "What's the matter, Jill? Are you crying? Is everything all right?" "No, everything is not all right, Sky. I was near your house and I saw Tyson with another woman. They were making out in your own house. Sky, I saw it with my own eyes." "What? Can you give me some details about this?" Tyson was looking at me with wide eyes. I also shared his look but remained calm. I motioned for him to stay quiet so that I could speak to Jill without her knowing anything. I knew that she had some sort of agenda on her mind. She continued to say, "What do I say, Sky? It was horrible. I don't think I can tell you what they were doing. It's embarrassing and disgusting. Thank God I walked away before I could see more. Oh my God, I'm so disgusted. You should divorce him, you know." "I don't know, Jill. I have a hard time digesting this information. I don't think Tyson will ever cheat on me like that. Are you sure you saw him with someone else?" "Yes, I'm sure, Sky. I saw it with my very own eyes. I walked off immediately before they could spot me. You need to get your head out of the clouds, Sky. I always told you my son would cheat on you." Gone were her tears and sadness from discovering her son cheating on his wife. Instead, she now sounded smug about everything. She was convinced that Tyson cheated on me because I wasn't capable of keeping him happy. I immediately knew that Jill hadn't called me to warn me of the situation. She had called me to gloat about what she found. No matter how hard she tried to sound concerned for me, her real motive spilled out in a minute. I said, "You really did tell me that Tyson would cheat on me. I wish I had listened, but I still don't understand. Me and Tyson were happy together. Why would he do this to me?" "You are a dumb witch. Do you know that, Sky? My son is such a handsome and intelligent man. He could get absolutely anyone in this world. You trapped him with your charms and forced him to marry you. He can see through your innocent face now. Finally, he understood his worth. So you are telling me that my husband cheated because I wasn't good enough? I still don't believe it, Jill. He would never do that to me. Oh, but he did, dear Sky. Just like I predicted, he slept with someone else the moment you were out on a vacation. If you want to stay in denial, do as you please. But I know the truth because I saw it with my own eyes. Be ready to have your stuff thrown out of the house once you come back. Wow, you really do sound very sure of yourself, Jill. I guess I'll have to take your word for it. Why don't we add Tyson and confront him together? That will be the best solution, right? Jill was just starting to protest when I signaled Tyson to speak. He was already stewing in anger and trying very hard to hold himself together. He heard his mother insult the two of us over and over again. That was bound to make him mad. I said, "Hey, Tyson, your mom's saying that she saw you cheating on me with someone else. That too in my own house. What's going on, dear?" "Mom, what the hell are you talking about? Why would you make up such a fake story like this? I am not cheating on Sky and never will." But I saw you with someone, Tyson. There is no way you can deny it. You were making out with someone in the house. I know Sky isn't in the house, so you must have taken advantage of it. What is this bullshit story you are spinning, Mom? Nothing like that happened. Why are you trying to ruin my relationship? Son, why are you getting mad at me? I'm on your side. I always knew you would get tired of Sky. She's not good enough for you. Trust me, I'm not mad that you cheated. Stop it, Mom. I haven't cheated on Sky. Stop spinning this bullshit story. I don't know who told you this, but there is no one else for me. I love Sky, and I would never even dream about cheating on her. Come on, Tyson, you don't have to lie. I saw you cheating with my own eyes. Just because Sky isn't at home doesn't mean she won't find out the truth. Who the hell said that Sky isn't at home? There was a stunned silence on Jill's side while she processed that question. I was thoroughly enjoying the show and was really interested to know where and how Jill was getting information about us. We were close to cracking this case and I could feel my heart swell with anticipation. I said, "That is a question to ask Tyson. So, Jill, how did you know that I would be out of town? I'm sure Tyson didn't tell you. We barely talk to you anymore, Jill. How did you know?" That's not important, Sky. Who cares about how I know? You should be more concerned about your marriage than me. Who knows? My son might come to his senses and leave you. He's already banging someone else as soon as you leave for a vacation. Now, here is the catch, Jill. I never went on that vacation. Yes, I was supposed to leave today, but one of my friends had a tragedy, so we canceled the trip altogether. What? You didn't leave for vacation? But I saw... Yes, Jill, you saw Tyson cheating on me with someone else. But there is one important detail, Jill. You said that you saw this with your own eyes. Pray tell me, what were you doing at the house? That's right. You were not supposed to know about the vacation and you were not supposed to come into the house. How did you do that, Mom? Where did you get the keys? Answer me. There was another round of stunned silence on Jill's end. At this moment, Jill knew that she had messed up. We had caught her doing something shady and she had nowhere to escape. She didn't know what to say and remained silent for a few seconds before mumbling something and hanging up on us. She got scared and didn't want to say anything that could land her in further trouble. Tyson was extremely furious and finally started to see that we needed to cut off Jill from our lives. But a question remained. Tyson said, "God, I can't believe this. So, Mom had been coming to our house regularly? You were telling the truth." The things that were happening in the house made it seem obvious. I knew that it had to be her. She may not have been talking to us, but she sure does know a lot. I've been thinking about the same thing, Sky. How the hell did she get a copy of our key? This is insane. I have a hunch, Tyson. I believe it was Brian who gave her the key. Look, Brian always told us that we were being cruel to his mother, so we know for a fact that he doesn't agree with us. That's not possible. He'll never betray me. He has some issues towards you, but I doubt he would go this far. Think about it, Tyson. He's the only one in the family who knew about my vacation. And the only one outside my friend circle who didn't know that the plan had been cancelled. Suddenly it all starts to sound right. Tyson looked distressed for a while and was straight up in denial. But slowly details added up and it became evident that Brian was feeding Jill info about us. Also, he was one of the few people who had access to our house keys. After we talked about this issue, we went starlight to the apartment where Brian was staying, and guess who we found there? Yes, Jill dear was there with a panicked look on her face. Tyson looked even more furious than before. I said, Well, looks like my hunch was right, Tyson. It was Brian who had been meddling in our business. What? What are you talking about? My mom can be here whenever she pleases. Also, I don't need your permission to talk to her. No, we never told you not to talk to Mom. But we told you not to share information about us with Mom. You crossed our boundaries and did just that. And you gave her a copy of our house keys, didn't you? Brian looked concerned at what we said. He might be an adult, but boy, he does get pretty scared of his older brother. He kept looking at his mom, who was looking at her feet and not talking. Brian didn't know what to say. I guess his panic made him unable to come up with any bullshit story to save himself. I said, There is no use denying this, Brian. We already know it was you. You were one of the two other people who have our house keys. And I know for a fact that my sister wouldn't give Jill the keys even if her life depended on it. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't give her any house keys. Hell, I didn't even know she went to your house. You don't know that, Brian. Isn't that why Mom is here crying? Are you telling me she isn't here to inform you that she has been caught? Do you think I'm dumb? You are the one who told Jill about my vacation, and you were the only one who didn't know that it was cancelled. You can't lie to us, Brian. We know for sure that it was you. Look, Tyson, she's your mother. How can you just lock her out of your life like that? I know I crossed a major boundary, but Mom was just worried about you. Mom was so worried about me that she trespassed and then tried to plant evidence in my home. She tried to break me and Sky apart, Brian. Can't you see that? I was just doing this for your own good, Tyson. Sky isn't the right match for you. My friend's daughter has loved you since kindergarten. You should have married her. I promised her that I would make you divorce Sky. Brian didn't know everything. He just felt bad for me. Don't yell at him like that. Me and Tyson were shocked to hear this. We knew that her friend's daughter had been highly inappropriate with Tyson, and that's why we didn't see her anymore. We knew that Jill didn't agree with our decision, but we didn't know that she had been actively encouraging this girl's wild dreams. Tyson had no idea, and even Brian looked hella surprised. Brian said, Mom, you promised that you wouldn't do anything like this. That's why I gave you their keys and details about them. You promised that you wouldn't try to break them up. We talked about this, Mom. I know what's best for Tyson. I don't want to hear anything else. Sky is a shit woman and won't be able to keep Tyson for long. I bet she's using him for money and will divorce him after a few years. I'm trying to save my son from ruin. Don't you dare talk about my wife like that. You didn't do anything for me or my happiness. You did this because you have a messed up dream of seeing me marry your best friend's daughter. You care nothing about me or my feelings. Hell, you trespassed into my house and invaded my privacy, Mom. I don't think I will ever forgive you for that. It's time me and Sky go low contact with you. No, 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 Tyson, what are you saying? I'm your mother. You can't just do this to me. We already dealt with this low contact nonsense. Let's not escalate things and make it worse. You are the only one escalating things and making it worse, Mom. You crossed all of our boundaries 1,000,000 times. And you tried to break us up multiple times as well. Tyson might forgive you because he's your son, but I never will. That also applies to you too, Brian. No matter what your reasons, you shouldn't have betrayed us in the first place. There, my wife has said it, guys. Since she wants nothing to do with you two anymore, I don't either. Consider all your financial privileges gone. Mom, I'm not paying your rent. Brian, your college fees are on you, and so is the accommodation. I don't reward people for bad behavior. My decision is final. After hearing this, both Brian and Jill started to beg and plead with us for forgiveness. They made promises about being better and finally treating our boundaries with respect. I guess it was a little too late for that. With some more rounds of shouting and berating on all sides, Tyson told Jill never to contact him again. We were also changing locks and setting up security cameras for good measure. We threatened Jill with a cease and desist letter if she does anything stupid. She kept crying and begging for forgiveness from Tyson while occasionally calling me names. Brian just stood there with his head down. He was finally understanding the gravity of the situation. Now, that wraps up what happened on that fateful day. So, do you want to know what happened afterward? Well, Jill got arrested, of course. Turns out she really wasn't interested in taking us seriously at all. We changed the locks and installed security cameras the next day. That night she came pounding on our door crying and screaming. Something about how I can't separate her from her son. Anyway, she threw my precious potted lilies at the door and we promptly called the police. She kicked and screamed about how she deserved to be in the house that belonged to her son and how I was holding her grown-ass man hostage in his own house. The police ignored her lame lies and took her back to the station. We couldn't file a restraining order with the limited evidence, but we are trying our best. My sweet husband had brought me brand new lilies to make up for the lost ones. With that out of the way, here's what happened when Jill realized that her son really wasn't giving her any money at all. Brian realized that quickly and took up 2 jobs to support himself. He was actually remorseful about what he did, so there is some hope of salvaging our relationship. But Jill went mad when Tyson didn't send her money. She did work, but not enough to stay in an apartment. Right now, the most she can afford is a trailer. Anyway, she doesn't learn her lesson and comes banging on our door again. This time she discarded the pots and threw Tyson's armchair at the door. How creative, right? The police were not thrilled and we finally got a restraining order in place. We don't know the whereabouts of Jill anymore since she finally realized what a waste of money it would be to hire a lawyer or make bail. So she is keeping away for now. Me and Tyson have joined couples counseling and are working to strengthen our marriage a bit more. We have been discussing talking to Brian again, but we are on the fence about it. I don't know what the future holds, but I sure do enjoy the peace right now. Hey there, my name's Nora. My life has been pretty complicated, if that's even the right word to describe it. It's always full of drama, and 9 out of 10 times the drama is in my family. Now, I don't have a big family, so you can imagine that it's mostly just a few individuals instigating things constantly. One of these individuals happened to be my grandpa, and this is the story of how my grandparents got divorced while being on 2 separate continents. I have a very close, almost parental relationship with my grandparents. You see, my mother got pregnant when she was 17. Obviously, neither of my grandparents approved, but they couldn't just kick out their pregnant daughter. My granddad tried for days to get my mom to let go of the pregnancy, especially because my biological dad ran off as soon as my mom told him she was having his baby. My mom was adamant about keeping me, and there was nothing my granddad could do to sway her decision. They let her stay with them, but told her that she would be responsible for me after birth and that they would only help her with half of the expenses. Taking care of and raising me were fully her responsibility. Well, apparently my mom was more than ready to graduate high school and then become a full-time mom while working part-time. My mom and my grandparents made a deal that my grandparents would only look after me while my mom was at school. My dad made all these big plans for our future, but unfortunately none of them were able to come true for her. While giving birth to me, she ended up having some severe complications. She was bleeding way too much, and the doctors told her that she had to either give up on the baby or her life. Well, you can guess which one she did. It was tragic. My grandparents were inconsolable but chose to raise me themselves. They never shied from telling me my mom's story because they didn't want to take her memory away from our family. They raised me to know that I was their granddaughter and not their daughter. In that aspect, I'm really grateful that my grandparents stepped up for me. What I'm not so grateful about was the fights that I had to witness between them while I was growing up. I'm not talking about small spats here and there. No, I'm talking about these huge screaming matches that, more often than not, ended with things in the house being broken. These fights usually started with something really small and escalated really fast. I remember one day when I was about 15 years old, my grandparents had a particularly bad fight. My grandpa stormed out of the house. I remember my heart pounding because every time they fought, I got really anxious. About 15 minutes after my grandpa left, my grandma knocked on my door. She asked if she could come in. When I nodded, she walked in and sat right next to me on the bed. "Hi, darling. How are you doing?" "Good, I guess." "I'm sorry you have to keep hearing us fight this way." "It's okay, I guess. Were you and Grandpa always like this?" No, we were not. It started up a few years ago." "Few as in 15 years ago, around the time I was born?" "Yes, but I know where you're going to go with this, and no, it's not because of you. We will never regret having you. What we do regret is not taking proper care of your mom when she was pregnant with you. Her death took a toll on both of us. You just happened to get caught in the crossfire. Sometimes it just feels like you guys would be better if I wasn't here as a constant reminder of what you lost, you know?" "Oh, honey, never ever think like that. I can assure you that I have never once wished you weren't a part of my life. Raising you has been the one thing that has kept me going, and it'll be the thing that will keep me going till the end of my time." "You sure?" "Absolutely, honey. I love you, and that will never change, okay?" While that conversation helped me deal with my emotions, it didn't really help my grandparents' relationship. They continued to fight like cats and dogs. My granddad would spend most days out of the house than in. I never knew where he was going, but somehow every time he returned home, he would seem a lot more mellowed out. He wouldn't pick a fight with my grandma for a couple of days, which was honestly a record in our house. This cycle continued for the next couple of years, except I noticed how it was always my grandpa instigating these fights over the years. My grandma got quieter. She didn't respond to any of Grandpa's jibes or insults. That only infuriated Grandpa even more, which meant he left the house to go spend time wherever else he usually went. Under usual circumstances, I would have been happy that my grandparents weren't fighting as much, but this wasn't a mutual change. My grandma seemed sad. Her change was visible in general. She stopped cooking these elaborate meals that she used to love to make. She stopped going out to hang out with friends, and she barely looked at me. I knew that something was wrong, so I tried to talk to her about it. "Grandma, is everything okay?" "Yeah, dear. Why would you ask me that?" No, it's just you aren't really responding much to anything Grandpa's saying. Aren't you glad we aren't fighting? Well, yeah, but you seem sad. In general, you don't feel like the grandma I know and love. That's why I'm asking you if everything's all right. Well, I would love to lie and say that everything's okay, but I don't like hiding things from you. What happened? How bad is it? It's pretty bad, but again, I don't think you're old enough to know. What happened to not wanting to hide things from me? Plus, I'm 18. I don't know. Forgive me, my head's too much of a mess right now to keep track of what I'm saying. Is there any way I could help you out at least, Grandma? I'm afraid not, but don't focus on it. I'll be fine. I just need some time to process everything. If you're sure. Yes, dear. Just focus on getting into a good college and living your life. I did as she wanted. I felt bad that I was ignoring her, but no matter how much I tried to talk to her, she always brushed me off and told me not to worry. I focused on my college applications, and eventually I ended up getting into a great college in the same state, but a couple of hours' drive away. Grandpa had gotten really angry with my grandma and had left the house for nearly a month. At that time, Grandma helped me find a place to stay at and helped me settle in for college. I was upset with Grandpa, but he never viewed me as someone who could hold opinions. If I ever tried to talk to him, he would tell me to stay in my place and not interfere. And I guess that was the way things were for the next 2 years. Grandpa barely kept any contact with me. It hurt, but after a few months, I kind of got used to it. Grandma would visit me every 2 weeks and stay with me for a week. I began to actually look forward to spending time with her because I realized her being away from home was making her become her old self. Every time we spent time with each other, we would talk about what was going on in our lives. That's usually when I found out what Grandma and Grandpa were arguing about at that time. On this one particular visit, Grandma told me that they were fighting over me. What do you mean you guys are fighting over me? Well, not necessarily you per se, but it includes you. What is it then? Your granddad's upset that I'm spending so much time with you. Huh, you're joking, right? I wish I was. That's really funny because it's not like he loves to pick fights just so he can get out of the house. Tell me about it. And he could occasionally come to visit me, but he chooses not to. He has some nerve to pick a fight with you based on that. I'm so sorry that he's been neglecting you. I've tried talking to him, but he always gets angry and then, well, you know what happens. It just sucks. I feel like Grandpa's upset with me. Oh no, I promise you that Frank's not upset with you. He's just being difficult. Still, the audacity he has to complain about you spending time with me hurts. I'm sorry about everything. I really am. I wish I could change things. It's okay. I need you to not change. You're the only family I have that actually cares about me. Remember my promise. I love you and nothing will ever change that. I'll always be here, okay? I was still upset about my grandpa's issue with my grandma by the time she left. I mean, both of them raised me, so why would it be a problem for Grandma to spend time with me? And it's not like I never made an effort to get in touch with him. Every time I tried to call him, I would go straight to voicemail or he would speak to me for barely half a minute before hanging up on me. I just wished with every fiber of my being that whatever my grandpa said didn't affect my grandma in any way. Unfortunately, the universe has very rarely worked in my favor. Grandma was supposed to visit me 2 weeks later, but she never did. I thought that things might have gotten bad at home, so she would come visit me a week later. But that never happened either. I tried to call back home, but no one answered. I got scared. I was in the middle of my midterm, so I couldn't even leave to go back home. But as soon as I gave my last midterm, I rushed back. I walked into my home and was shocked by the state of it. It was a mess. There was shattered glass everywhere. The few dishes that weren't broken were dirty and unwashed. There was dust collected on every surface. This was never what the house looked like. One of my grandparents always cleaned up after a fight. I walked around the house just taking in the sight of it. I walked up to my grandparents' bedroom and saw my grandma just sitting in bed, staring at a framed photo of her and Grandpa from when they were younger. Grandma? Oh, Laurie, oh my gosh, you almost gave me a heart attack. Sorry, I was just worried. You didn't visit last month and no one was picking up the phone. I'm sorry, dear. A lot has been going on here and I wasn't in the right mind. Why won't you just tell me what's wrong? You've been suffering in silence for years and I can't take it anymore. Just tell me, please. Well, I guess you're old enough. It's embarrassing, okay? Grandma, we're family. Nothing's embarrassing for us. You're right, I guess. You remember how you asked me a couple of years ago before you got into college why I was so upset? Yes? And you know how Grandpa leaves to go somewhere every time we have a fight? Yeah, where does he go off to? Apparently his mistress's house. What? Come again? I found out a while ago. I found emails between the two of them. I just didn't know how to process it. I can't believe him. I mean, I knew we were fighting a lot and nothing good would come out of that, but this was a whole new level of pain. Why haven't you left him? Because he wouldn't have any place to be. I know I sound stupid, but we signed prenups before getting married. Everything is in my name. Poor man won't have anywhere to go. I don't know whether to feel pain or anger. Just promise me that if he does anything too bad, you'll leave him. But what if he has no place? I don't care. You deserve better than this. I guess you're right. I stayed with Grandma for that week. Grandpa wasn't there. I was grateful for it because I really didn't know how I would react to him. I helped Grandma clean the house up and listen to her rant about her feelings. It hurt me to see my grandma crying. I hardly ever saw her cry, but the few times I did see her cry, it was only my grandpa that was the reason. It sucked that he was always the reason for all these negative emotions. I wanted to stay another week so I could catch Grandpa and give him a piece of my mind. But Grandma insisted I go back to college and work on my own things. She promised that she would come to visit me in 2 weeks. I went back to my flat, but I couldn't help but feel the need to track down my grandpa. I was okay with a lot of the things that went on in my house, but cheating? That was a hard no. I hated that Grandpa was putting Grandma through that, and Grandma was almost too nice about the whole thing. If I was in her place, I would have let go of Grandpa as soon as I found out that he was cheating on me. The next week, I spent all my time catching up with all the classes I missed. I stayed up most nights to catch up and even get a little ahead of every class. That weekend, I decided to try and catch a little cat nap to prepare myself to stay up all night. Right as I was about to fall asleep, my doorbell rang, and it kept ringing until I got to the door. I was already cranky because of tiredness, and at that moment, I was so close to knocking whoever was outside my door unconscious. I opened the door, ready to yell, but stopped dead in my tracks when I saw my granddad standing there. My grandma was standing right behind him. She looked like she had been crying, and she refused to look at me. "Grandpa, how come the sudden visit? Did you suddenly remember me?" "Spare me the drama, Laurie. I'm here to drop her off." "Grandma? Why?" "Oh, so you suddenly don't have time or space to spend on your grandma?" "Okay, that's enough. You have no right to talk to me like that when she was the only one who actually cared about me." "I don't care. I'll be back in 8 months. Take care of her." Wait, Wait, hold up. Where are you going? A world tour with a friend who's currently waiting for me at the airport. Bye. With that, he left. I ushered my grandma inside. I carefully took her bags out of her hands and kept them in the spare bedroom she always used whenever she stayed over. I hugged her and just let her cry for a while. I made her a hot bath and just let her relax. I figured the last thing she wanted to do was talk. Even though my curiosity was killing me, my grandma's well-being came first. After I was sure Grandma was doing better, I asked her what was going on. So, this friend that Grandpa's going on a trip with, is it his mistress? Yeah. I wish this wasn't my life, but here I am. I don't mean to be that person, but why didn't you stop him? I mean, there should have been something you could have said or done to stop him. You know what I realized on the drive here? You were really, really right. I deserve better than this. I've given my all to this man, and in return he's broken my trust and made my life miserable. I needed to do something worse for him. What are you talking about? Oh, I'm going to make sure he never comes back. He'll rot wherever he's stuck, and the best part is I know that his mistress is only with him for the money. Once that money goes, so will she. He'll be left all alone. I like this plan. I'll help you in any way possible, but for now, you need to get some rest. We spent the day just lazing around and watching some stupid reality TV. We cooked our favorite meals and talked for a long while. I was glad to have my grandma back. The possibility of getting revenge brought about a new surge of energy in Grandma, and I loved to see it. The next day, we got to work on our plan. Grandma told me that Grandpa was using money from their joint account to fund his trip for him and his mistress. I didn't think Grandpa could shock me anymore, but I was clearly wrong. I wanted to find him and yell at him until my throat was sore. Grandma felt the same, but she had already been doing that for years. She decided instead to withdraw all the money from the joint account. Every investment they made and every asset they bought through their joint account, she sold over the rest of the week. By the start of the next week, Grandpa would have nothing for himself. Based on his transactions, we knew that he was in Sri Lanka. Well, we wished him all the luck in the world getting out of there. Grandma contacted one of her many lawyer friends and started the process of filing for divorce. She also had lawyer friends in Sri Lanka. She contacted them to have the divorce proceedings legal either way. Her lawyer would have the papers sent to that lawyer's office in Sri Lanka. Through their contacts, they would track Frank and hand him the papers. Grandma and I were upset by everything we had to do. We were letting go of someone who was an important part of our lives just because he wanted to satisfy his desires. He let go of an entire family. We didn't have to wait too long to hear news about Grandpa. The lawyer in Sri Lanka told us that they had managed to track down Grandpa at a hotel while he was arguing with the hotel receptionist about his card payment. He was escorted to the police station where the lawyer presented him with the divorce papers. Grandpa apparently threw a whole tantrum and asked to contact Grandma, but the time difference made it impractical. They had him sign those papers and let him go. The lawyer had a PI follow Grandpa around. Initially, his mistress was happy he was free from Grandma, but she quickly realized that Grandpa was broke. It barely took her a day to pack all her things and leave. Grandpa tried to contact us, but we never picked up any of his calls. It hurt to do that to him, but he had been hurting Grandma for much longer. You know, I learned a lot of things from my grandma, but the most important thing is how to be kind, yet how to know your worth. Grandma held on for as long as she could for the man she loved. She gave him chance after chance. But when he took it too far, she knew exactly how to get back at him. I guess the saying is right. Hell really hath no fury like a scorned lover. My grandma proved it through and through. We took time after that to heal and hold each other whenever the hurt got too much. We didn't care to find out how Grandpa got back because even if he did, he would not be able to live where he used to. With every day that passes, we grow stronger. I hope you enjoyed listening to our story. I, Tara, am a very hard-working woman. I grew up dirt poor and had to work multiple minimum wage jobs to finally get a decent one. No, I never went to college. I didn't have the means for that. I was busy working and finally got married to my husband, Luke. Luke was my senior at my job and we dated after he took a transfer. I really thought that he had loved me. That's why I married him. That's why I supported him when he lost his high-paying job and had to take a huge pay cut. I didn't protest when he bought a house with his savings and put only his name on it. No, I didn't complain. Instead, I gave him money to build back his savings and poured more money into our household account. I really did love him. That was until I found him cheating on me. Luke had been cheating on me for a whole year. I found all the evidence and confronted him. He didn't deny anything. Instead, he was proud of it. I wanted to leave, but Luke didn't want a divorce for some reason. We fought and I was ready to go nuclear. But it was our son, Harry, who changed my mind. He said, "Mom, I'm just 16. I don't want to split time between you and Dad. I love you two equally. Please don't get a divorce." "Harry, I understand your concerns, son, but it is impossible for me to have a relationship with your father anymore. He has broken our vows and betrayed me, son." "He says that he made a mistake, Mom. Dad wants to make this work. Can't you give him a chance? At least for me." Harry kept telling me how he didn't want us to separate. He is my son. I am his mother. His words softened me a lot. I didn't want him to suffer more than necessary, so I decided to give Luke a chance. Luke promised to end the affair for good. Things were back to normal for 6 months. After that, I got to know that Luke had started seeing the woman again. I resented him, but I still stayed for Harry. He was my only support now. If I lost him, I wouldn't have anyone. Years passed and Luke finally graduated high school. He didn't want to go to college and instead started to look for a job. I wanted to support him, so I did. Finally, Luke found a job in the newly opened restaurant in our area. I was happy because my son had a job and because I knew the business well. My happiness didn't last long though. The day before Harry was about to sign the contract and join work, he sat me down with his dad. Luke then said, "Tara, since Harry has turned 18 now, there'll be no custody issues anymore. Here are the divorce papers and your eviction notice. I want you out." "What? What kind of ambush is this, Luke? You can't just spring this on me. You are being ridiculous. You can't just threaten to kick me out like this. Harry, why are you silent? God, Mom, you really are stubborn. Dad doesn't want to have you in this house anymore, and frankly, I don't either. I already have a job now, so we don't need you anymore. Money is the only thing you are good for anyway." I was surprised to hear this from Harry. This was coming from my own son, who convinced me to stay with his father. Luke was laughing at what Harry said, and from the expression on my face, he said, "Look at that, will you, Tara? Your own son is ready to kick you out as well. I guess you aren't the mom of the year after all." "Harry, are you serious? You too want me to leave? I don't understand this. Are you angry at me? What did I do wrong?" "You are freaking annoying, you know. Dad's girlfriend is much better. She's a fun parent and knows how to be friends with me. All you do is yell at me and tell me to study." "What? You prefer your dad's affair partner over me? Are you even hearing yourself right now?" "She's a much cooler person, Mom. I'm thinking of calling her mom as well. God, she's beautiful and fun. She's literally the dream parent of everyone. You know, she even has a big fortune. She assured me that it would all be mine once she passed. Meanwhile, you have nothing. I was too stunned to speak. Hearing my own son sing praises of my husband's mistress was something that I never imagined would happen. Luke was having a great time hearing my son humiliate me and praise him for cheating on me with such an amazing woman. Apparently, the woman had agreed to marry Luke and adopt Harry if Harry got a job. Something about making sure she doesn't get a bunch of gold diggers. I felt sick listening to them talk. I was shaking while sitting on the sofa. Harry and Luke continued to sing praises of the other woman. Harry said, "So that's why I would rather stay with my dad's girlfriend. She loves me so much. She can't have kids, so she will leave me her estate. That's why I managed to find this amazing job and convince her that we are not gold diggers. Now that I have this job, I or Dad don't need your dirty money anymore." "That's right. We don't need you anymore, Tara. You need to leave. The divorce will be easy, you know. Since Harry's an adult, there will be no child support or anything of that sort. It'll be a clean break." Am I really that disposable to you two? All this time I was only required for money and nothing else? Is this what I deserve? It's your fault that you couldn't keep us happy. Dad realized that a long time back and ended up having an affair. I realized that as well and decided to support him. So yes, you probably deserve this treatment. You are a failure as a wife and mother. I broke down and started to cry very loudly. Those words hurt like hell and were like a knife through my chest. Harry and Luke did nothing but laugh at me and call me useless. I already knew that Luke was a complete piece of shit, but I had no idea that my own son would be so cruel towards me. I spent years of my life looking after these two, and today they have called me a failure, among others. I was heartbroken, but their laughter also incited something else in me. It made me mad, and I could feel rage boiling inside me. I made a promise to myself. I will get back at these two for good. I removed myself from that place and went upstairs to my room. Harry and Luke were having an animated discussion about their next moves. Luke had already given me divorce papers and an eviction notice. He said that he won't fight me in the divorce. I guess he thought that he didn't need my money anymore. He could rely on Harry till his mistress married him. I calculated my next move and went back downstairs. I said, "Luke, you want a divorce, right? And you two want me out of the house as well? Okay then, I'll grant you your wishes. I have called my lawyer and he will be here in a few hours. You can call your lawyer and finalize the papers now." "So, you finally accepted defeat then. Good for you. Not like there's another way for you anyway. Before our lawyer gets here, I want to warn you that you won't get any part of this house." "Well, this is our marital asset, so you should be giving me half of the house. I can stay out of this place until everything is finalized, but I will still get half of the house." "Absolutely not. I bought this place with my own money. You won't be getting any part of it. It will all belong to Harry." "Mom, how can you be so selfish? You don't want me to inherit the house? You will rob me of my inheritance if you take half of this house. Dad won't be able to buy you out, so he would have to sell this place." Wow, that's an incredible assumption, Harry. I didn't know you two were so attached to this place. I also didn't know that you think I'm robbing you of your inheritance, Harry. Anyway, since this house is so important to you, I won't claim half of it. But Luke has to forfeit his alimony and his right to sue me in the divorce. "I will sign it, Tara. I don't want your money anyway. Plus, I know your little alimony will do shit for us. My girlfriend can take care of us much better." As I got this confirmation from Luke, my lawyer walked in through the door. After a while, Luke's lawyer came as well. I signed the divorce papers and Luke did as promised. He wouldn't be able to claim alimony anymore. He looked very proud of himself and smiled at Harry. I put on a poker face and cooperated as much as possible. Inside, I was boiling with rage and hurt, but I didn't let it reflect on my face. I just needed Luke to sign the papers ASAP. As for Harry, since he was an adult now, there would be no issues of custody or child support. Thank God for that. I had no interest in dealing with someone who didn't even love his own mother. Anyway, the papers were signed and the lawyer left. I immediately went back to my room and locked the door. Then I called my best friend. She said, "Is it done, Tara? Have you two signed the divorce papers?" "Yes, I have actually. Luke didn't put up a fight. He agreed to let go of the alimony entirely." "Great! Only a few more months and then you will be a free woman. And we will be able to say good riddance. Something to look forward to, I guess." "Yes, I want to get out of this house now. I'm freaking done with Luke and Harry. What about you, Jillian? Have you made a decision?" "Of course I have, Tara. No one insults my best friend and gets away with it. I'll be teaching that ungrateful son of yours a big lesson. Just let me go to work tomorrow." I was satisfied with what Jillian said. I was moving in with her the next day and got busy packing. Downstairs, Luke was excitedly telling his affair partner about how he was finally free and his son kept his promise to her. They got rid of me and made a place for Luke's affair partner to become a permanent fixture in their lives. Luke was shouting on the phone with joy. He didn't have to hide his affair after all. Neither did Harry have to fake being disgusted about the affair. But they didn't know that their joy would soon turn into full-blown sorrow. My best friend would make sure of it. Before calling my lawyer, I called her and told her everything. She was, of course, furious and promised to help me out in every possible way. And boy, did she deliver. She invited me to stay with her before I could find more permanent accommodations, and she had a special surprise for both Luke and Harry. The next day, Harry cheerfully got dressed and left to go to work. It was his first day at work after all. He needed to look and do his best. He whistled happily, got into his car and left. After some time, I put my things in the trunk of my car and left as well. First, I dropped off my stuff at Jillian's place where she was waiting for me. Then, the two of us drove to the restaurant where Harry got the job. When we went there, we could hear Harry shouting at the staff. As soon as she saw us, Harry got quiet and wide-eyed. I smiled at him and said, "What's the matter, Harry? Trouble at your new work? I can see that the staff are refusing to let you work. Are you sure you still have this job?" "That's none of your business. No one has fired me. I'm waiting for the owner to arrive. I'll take it up with her and work this out. No reason for you to butt in." "Oh, don't worry, son. I won't be butting in at all. This is your workplace after all, and this dispute is between you and your employer. I won't say anything about this." "Good. Now you and Jillian can go mind your own business. I have stuff to do. I'm not useless like you two here. No wonder she's your best friend, Mom. It looks like she doesn't have anything to do on a Monday morning as well." Hearing this, Jillian and I started to laugh out hysterically. Even the staff were holding their laughter for the sake of professionalism. Harry looked extremely embarrassed and then turned angry. He shouted at us and said, "Will you two stop laughing for God's sake? You're embarrassing me. This is why I like my dad's girlfriend better than you, Mom. And you, Jillian, you need to mind your business instead of gossiping about me with Mom." "Oh dear, let me just compose myself. You are hilarious, Harry. I'll give you that. Anyway, I'm minding my own business, Harry. This restaurant is my business." "What? What do you mean?" "Don't just speak what comes to mind. You are only embarrassing yourself here." "My innocent little child, Harry. You really should have done some research on the place you have interviewed." "I own this place, Harry. This is my business, and you are standing here insulting the one who was supposed to be your employer." Harry looked shocked at what Jillian said. He was starting to sweat while trying to figure out if Jillian was telling the truth. I was still smiling behind Gillian and staying out of the conversation as I promised Harry. This was between them after all. Harry said, "There's no way you own this place. You are a freaking housewife. You don't have any money of your own. There is no way you could have afforded to buy this big restaurant." Even though you have no business hearing this, let me tell you how. After my husband died, I was left with quite a bit of money. I didn't want to mope around and do nothing, so I purchased this place last year. How do you think the old cafe turned into such a big restaurant out of the blue? Well, I invested and renovated everything. That's impossible. You're lying to me. You're nothing but trash, claiming someone else's business as yours. Oh, really, Harry? God, you are a hard sell. Okay then, why don't you ask around and find out? My staff are standing right here. Go ahead, Harry. Ask them. Harry looked around and everyone nodded their heads in agreement. That confirmed to him that the restaurant did indeed belong to Gillian. He was now very, very scared and gulped hard. Harry knew that he had messed up big time. He faced Gillian and said, "Oh, that's so good of you, Aunt Gillian. You did well for yourself. I can't believe I'll be working for you from now on. This makes my job and life so much easier." Hold on to that thought, Harry. I believe that my staff has told you about how I am firing you from this job. I mean, I did confirm about giving you the job, but I changed my mind. The woman who interviewed you didn't know what a shit person you are, but thankfully I do. And I don't want an ungrateful human working for me. No, Gillian. You misunderstood me. I'm a great worker. That's why your staff hired me. I swear I will do my best for this job. I'm very hard working. Don't give me that bullshit, Harry. I know what a lazy little bum you are. I have been seeing you for 18 freaking years. You don't lift a finger in your house and have zero work experience. You only went job hunting to make sure your dad's mistress accepted you. Okay, fine, maybe I don't have any work experience, but I will still do my best. I can promise you that. I'll take this job seriously and give it my all. You literally kicked your mother to the curb the moment you found a better parent. You used and discarded your mom when it felt like you didn't need her anymore. After all this, you still think you are dependable? There is no way I will hire you, Harry. Since we didn't sign a contract, consider this job out of your hands. I will find easy replacements for you. Harry didn't expect this to happen at all. He thought that his begging would have at least some effect on Gillian. Instead, she aired his dirty laundry all over the restaurant, even though they were still long from opening in the morning. The staff there did hear everything. They were casting nasty glances at Harry and moving away from him. Suddenly, Harry realized that his chance of convincing his rich stepmother was slipping out of his hands. He panicked and turned to me. I guess he did need me to butt in after all. He said, "Mom, why are you silent? Why can't you tell Gillian that I will keep my word? You need to do something." "Why will I, Harry? You told me to stay away from your business, so I'm doing just that. This is between Gillian and you. I don't want to overstep in any way." "That's bullshit. She thinks I'm not dependable because of you. You need to assure her that I am dependable, Mom. She is your best friend and I'm your son." "You are no son of mine, Harry. You forfeited the right to call yourself my son when you chose your dad's mistress over me. This is your karma, Harry. Gillian's assessment of you is absolutely on point. You are ungrateful and not dependable at all. There is no way she should hire you." Harry immediately went mad and started to show his true face again. He started to harass me and call me names. He was so angry that I saw a staff member pull out her phone ready to call 911. Gillian remained calm while Harry insulted us both. He said, "You think you can get away with treating me like this? Just you wait. I'll land a job and then make my stepmother buy this place. I will destroy you, Gillian." "You think your stepmother will buy my business?" God, again. You are so freaking hilarious, Harry. That woman doesn't even have a penny to her name. What do you mean? You don't know her? She's a rich heiress with lots of wealth. She has the power to destroy you. You are just as stupid as your father, Harry. The mistress told you what you wanted to hear, and you guys didn't even check to see if it was true. Your new stepmother is nothing but a beggar. That's impossible. You're just being a jealous witch and spreading lies about her. You hate it that she's more beautiful and rich than you. You are being delusional, Harry. After I found out about your father's affair, I told Gillian everything. She did some digging and found some interesting information on your dad's mistress. She is broke as shit, Harry. She lives off of your father's money under the guise of testing him to see if he is a gold digger. She planned to make you get a job and trap your dad in marriage. Then she would sit on her butt like a queen and survive on your salaries. Harry looked like he was struck by lightning. I could tell that he had a hard time believing our words. Our facts did make sense to him, but I guess he was unable to accept it. We told him to go and check the truth by himself. Off he drove in the quest of finding the truth. I'll give you a brief account of the aftermath of that day. Harry grew desperate for answers and told Luke everything. The two of them set out to find the truth and see what was going on. The mistress manipulated them with lies again to keep them at bay. Meanwhile, I managed to get a court date for divorce and started our 6 months of separation. My stupid ex-husband Luke was so deep in denial that he married his mistress after those 6 months. He actually discarded his son on the words of his mistress. Harry had been abandoned by Luke because his mistress didn't want him. Harry came to me for help. He cried about how difficult life was and how his dad kicked him out. He couldn't get a decent job due to his lack of experience. Plus, Gillian warned many of her business associates against hiring Harry. Harry was now desperate to get my forgiveness and be back under my roof. I told him to leave and only come back after he paid for his sins. He had to leave to become a Walmart employee and now shares an apartment with 2 people. My ex found out about his mistress's finances after marriage. Luke finally realized that we had been telling the truth. His mistress was using him and baiting him. He is now stuck in an unhappy marriage and often texts me to beg for a second chance. I have no intention of ever doing that, of course. Instead, I'm thinking of purchasing his house since it is on sale to get rid of Luke's new wife's credit card debts. Let me know whether I should go for it. Thanks for listening. Hello guys, my name's Evelyn and this story is about my disastrous marriage to my husband Cole. I will be using fake names and sorry for that. I can be easily recognized, which I don't want at all. A lot of details here are unknown to people around me and I want it to stay that way. I'm getting old and I don't want to be the center of gossip again. Just wanted to share my story with you guys as a cathartic experience. I married Cole when I was 38. Before that, I had an amazing husband who died from a rare heart condition. He was the love of my life and I still grieve for him sometimes. We never had kids because I am actually infertile. I don't have any regrets though. God sent me an amazing stepson, Sean, who is the son of Cole. Cole and I met through a work event. He had a high-paying job while I was newly taking over my late husband's business. Now, let me just say that my late husband was hella rich. He built his business from scratch and took it to the highest level. After his death, I inherited all of his assets since he was an orphan with no family. So you can say that I was rich as well. Well, Cole and I developed a nice friendship before finally dating after 2 years. We got married soon and lived a good life. However, his ex-wife Riley had always been a point of contention. She was invited to our wedding because of Sean, but she looked sour the entire time. She told me, "Don't think so highly of yourself, Evelyn. Cole doesn't love you at all. I'm the only love of his life. He's marrying you because of your money." That's wrong, Riley. Cole loves me and I love him too. He has a good job and doesn't need my money. Yes, he does have a good job, but it was never enough for him. He always wanted more. That's why he left me, you know. I wasn't able to get a nice job and was draining his resources. But don't you worry. I am all set to receive a big inheritance soon. After that, I will have Cole back to me. I was alarmed at Riley's words, but didn't take her seriously. I thought that I knew Cole well enough to disregard her horrible words. I chalked her up to being jealous and obsessed with Cole. Well, I was right about that, but I had misjudged Cole. I didn't know that yet. I only put up with her because of Sean. Now, I won't say that Sean was very fond of his own mother. Why? Because she used him to make Cole stay with her. The poor kid was being used by his mother. That is why, when he got me, he was finally happy to have someone who loved him. The wedding was over and my life progressed perfectly. The trouble started just 2 years after our marriage. Riley suddenly inherited a huge estate and a big mansion from a distant uncle. Cole was shocked to hear this news. He said, "Damn it, why did Riley have to receive such a big inheritance now? She didn't have a penny when we were married." Who cares, Cole? You are not in that toxic relationship anymore. You are with me. Yes, I am happy that Sean will have a better life now. Riley won't be spending all her money on Sean. I wonder what she will do with the rest. There is so much she could do. I know she'll invest it and make her fortune bigger. She couldn't do that when we were married. Cole started to obsess over Riley's fortune. It was bizarre and super frustrating for me. I had no idea why he was so obsessed with her money. We did not want money anyway. I had a large fortune and we were living comfortably. Yes, I did sign a prenup and refused to put Cole's name on my house, so Cole had been a little pissed at me for a while. I just thought that he was frustrated, but I didn't know that he was secretly going out with Riley. No, there was no affair. I checked that already, but he often went to expensive places with her and Sean. He always said, "I'm doing this for Sean, Evelyn. He deserves to have his two parents together at times. Why is this such a big deal?" You are cancelling our date plans and hanging out with her, Cole. Sean doesn't even want to go that often. He has said so himself. Still, you keep pushing him and spending more time with Riley. It's making me uncomfortable. You are such a jealous and insecure woman, Evelyn. Stop being such a nag. Sean likes to go out with us. Don't tell lies. I wasn't lying. Sean often complained that his parents take him to dinner and then just talk between themselves. He was left out and sat in silence. He didn't even get a say in where they would go. Riley always made Cole choose and did whatever he said. Me and Cole had countless arguments about this, but I stupidly stayed with him. I thought that maybe Cole was really telling the truth and he was only doing this for Sean. He wasn't, of course. All this came to a head when Riley was diagnosed with a terminal illness. She was admitted to the hospital where Sean and Cole both went to visit. The doctor said that the prognosis wasn't good and she only had up to a year to live. Sean was devastated, of course, and even Cole was upset. I felt bad for Riley too. It's not easy to digest this information after all. Sean and Cole both regularly visited the hospital until she was discharged. A day before she was discharged, I came home from work to see Cole packing his bags. I was confused because he had more bags than needed for a business trip. I said, "Hey, Cole, what's up? Why are you packing your stuff? Are you going on a business trip?" "I'll be moving in with Riley tomorrow, and I'll also be filing for divorce." What? What are you even talking about, Cole? Why would you do that? Please, tell me what's going on. This is ridiculous. No, this is not ridiculous, Evelyn. Riley gave me an amazing offer. I think it is in my best interest to move in with her now.
You made me sign a prenup and didn't have my name on your properties. Well, guess what, Evelyn? Riley has promised to do that for me. What? Riley promised to give her estate to you? This can't be real. Are you sure she's not tricking you, Cole? No, Riley is not tricking me. She is my one true love and the best wife ever. She trusts me. With her $20 million estate, she is a way better wife than you. I regret ever marrying you in the first place. If Riley had gotten her inheritance sooner, I wouldn't have left her at all. Guys, I can't describe to you what was going through my head at that point. I felt like my entire life was a lie. Riley was right all along. Sean was also right all the while. None of them were making up lies about Cole. He didn't love me. He married me only for money. It wasn't just a dig at me and my average looks. It was the truth. Cole didn't love me at all. He threw me out of his life the moment he got a better deal from Riley. I can't believe I loved and cherished this man. Instead of sadness, hatred and anger were brewing inside me. I wanted to scream at him and call him names, but I didn't do any of that. I silently listened to him rant and left when he was done. I went to the kitchen and started to cry. Cole was still packing in our room and I didn't want to be there anymore. I felt used and was even disgusted with myself. That's when Sean came and sat beside me. He was looking down at his feet, not saying anything. I took a few minutes to compose myself. Then I said, "So, you know about Cole and Riley then? Cole is in our room packing his bags. Your mom has managed to get him back after all. Money and property was all it took. God, I am so dumb and stupid." "Don't say that, Evelyn. You're not dumb or stupid. You are the only person who cared about me. All my own mother did was use me to get back Dad. And my dad knows nothing beyond money. You have no idea how much your love and care means to me." "Thank you for telling me that, Sean. I really do love you like my own son. That will never change, even if your dad moves out. You can always come back here. You are my son and I love you. Always remember that." "Thanks, Evelyn. You have no idea how much it makes me happy to hear that. My dad is an idiot who lost such an amazing woman like you. He will regret his choice. Just wait." "I'm sure he won't, Sean. You are right. Only money makes your dad happy. Now that he knows that he has a big fortune coming, he will never be unhappy. He will have a 20 million in assets after all." Suddenly, Sean started to laugh through his tears. No, this was not sad laughter at all. He laughed like he found my words super hilarious. I looked at him confused and tried to understand why he was laughing. He stopped suddenly and said, "Where did you get such ridiculous news, Evelyn? My dad has a single house to his name and nothing else." "No, he doesn't, but your mom does have a $20 million estate. She has promised to give it all to Cole if he moves in with her. That's why he's leaving so suddenly." "Oh God, Evelyn, I should have known that you were in the dark. My mom is nothing but a scheming witch. Do you know why Mom said that? Because she wants to win against you, and she always wanted him back." "Yes, but Cole will profit a lot out of this deal. He will get her assets after all. I'm confused as to why she's not leaving you anything." "What will she leave me, Evelyn? My mom is broke as shit. She doesn't have money at all. In fact, she has a ton of debts, some from her horrible spending habits and some from her medical expenses. There are no 20 million estates anymore. All of it will be sold to be paid as debt after she dies. If Dad is stupid enough to sign whatever she gives, he will end up shouldering an extra 5 million in debt, actually." I was shocked by what Sean told me. It all started to make sense why Riley wasn't leaving Cole anything. She had nothing but debts to leave. I guess she wanted Cole to shoulder everything while also showing that she won by getting him back. Riley truly was a big mastermind. She knew exactly how to use people to get her way. I started to admire her sharp thinking. I said, "Wow, your mother is something else, Sean. Now everything is making sense. So Cole has no idea about her debts?" "Not at all. She never told her about all the things she did. She didn't want Dad to move away from her. Dad would have run if he knew that she had only debts." "And you are not going to tell him?" "No. Evelyn, I am not going to tell him. In my mind, he deserves what's coming. I gave you this information so that you can decide if you want him to know. So, do you want to tell him?" Sean's question swarmed my mind. Did I really want to warn Cole about what he was getting himself into? Did I want to give him a chance to save himself? Well, the simple answer is no. I didn't want to tell him. He married me for money and left me for money. He played with my feelings and betrayed me. I wasn't going to forgive him. I wanted revenge and I wanted him to suffer. I made up my mind and said, "No, Sean, I don't want to tell him. I'm done with him treating women like they're disposable. And I want him to pay for what he did to me and you. I want karma to come for him." That's what I also want, Evelyn. I'm glad you finally made the right decision. I am with you on this. It's time we get our revenge, isn't it? He has made us suffer a lot and used us for his own benefit. Together, we will see him pay for his sins. Sean had a gleam in his eyes when I said that. He was waiting for his dad's schemes to backfire on him. He still wanted me to have the chance to decide what to do. He knew that I loved Cole and would probably be hurt seeing him suffer, but I was done with that man too. The next day, Cole moved to Riley's place early in the morning. I saw him go and didn't shed a single tear. He didn't even say goodbye because he was in a hurry to get his assets. I didn't care, of course. By then, I already knew what a vile and disgusting man he was. I was happy to have him out of my house. I took this chance to file for divorce and used all the evidence I had against him. Meanwhile, Riley was having a gala time with Cole in the house with her. She texted me a selfie of her with Cole and said, "You see this, Evelyn? I finally got my man back. No matter what, Cole will always love me. You were only a temporary distraction for him. At the end of the day, he was bound to come back to me." Congratulations on finding your lost love, Riley. I'm happy to see that you have finally got what you wanted. It would have pained me to see you die without having what you wanted. Thanks for taking him off my hands, Riley. Just make sure he signs the divorce papers as soon as possible. Maybe then you'll even get a wedding before you pass. Oh, don't you worry about that, Evelyn. I have all those plans in mind. Once you send those divorce papers over, he will sign them ASAP. I'm just afraid you'll make things difficult. You can be assured, Riley, I won't make things difficult at all. I just don't want to give him alimony or any of my assets. Plus, I want custody of Sean as well. I was in his life for 5 years and I deserve it. Riley agreed to my conditions and promised to send Cole over to a neutral location to talk. I was surprised that she gave up custody of Sean so easily. I guess now that she had Cole, she didn't need her son as a pawn anymore. Riley and Cole were equally disgusting people, but I wasn't about to tell them that just yet. I didn't want to slip and tell the truth to Cole. Anyway, I thanked Riley for cooperating and asked to send Cole over to finalize everything. Cole came over and agreed to all my demands. I didn't ask anything from him, and he wanted to get divorced fast. I guess he was afraid he would have to share his new assets with me. I was laughing inside while he kept specifying that he would never give me a penny from Riley's estate. In the end, the process was swift and we both signed the papers. Days passed and the judge gave us 6 months of separation. Those 6 months also passed in a jiffy. Sean alternated between staying at his mother's house and staying with me. I was okay with the arrangement since Riley didn't have much time left anyway. So 2 months after my divorce, Riley passed away. She married Cole just a month before to flaunt her man-stealing skills to the world. not my words, these are her own. Her literal caption was, "I can steal my man back just fine." Good for her, I guess. So the funeral was over and I was apparently invited as well. Riley thought that it would be a last slap on my face as Cole would praise her and say kind words about her at the funeral. Neither of those happened. As soon as Riley passed, Cole was confronted with the truth of the situation. He stupidly avoided getting a lawyer to see what he was signing up for. He became her power of attorney and bore all her responsibilities in the end. And somehow he also took over the responsibility of the loan. Now he realized that he would have to sell the entire estate and then pay $5 million out of his pocket. He was not thrilled at all. He stormed out of the funeral even before the services were over. Me and Sean stayed to pay our respects and returned home only to find Cole there as well. He said, "I messed up big time, Evelyn. Riley played me like a fiddle. Yes, she gave me her assets, but she also made me sign over her debts. I had no idea. Now I have a $5 million debt. I'm ruined." Oh, I'm aware of that, Cole. I have known about it all along. You walked into a trap. What? You knew about the debt? Then why didn't you tell me, Evelyn? I would have been saved. What makes you think I would be interested in saving you? You betrayed me and moved in with Riley. You showed me what a gold digger you are. All those years you faked your love for me when all you wanted was my money. You think I would want to save you even after all this? Are you insane? Cole heard this and started to cry. He finally understood how badly he had messed up and how much he had lost. His craze for Riley's property revealed his gold-digging side to me. Now he had no way of arguing with me, so he cowardly resorted to begging and pleading, not to mention lots of crying as well. He kept saying, "I'm so sorry, Evelyn. I'm so sorry for everything. I shouldn't have done this." Sorry for what, Cole? For using me for money or abandoning me when you found a better deal? Which one are you sorry about? For everything, Evelyn. I beg for your forgiveness. Your love for me was real. Don't tell me it's all gone. Please give me a chance. I'll make things right. Don't make me laugh, Cole. There is no way in hell you will ever change. You only want me back because I have the means to get rid of your debt. Nothing else. Please, Evelyn, think about Sean. How will I take care of him if you don't help me out? I know you love him like a son. At least think about this. This sparked a round of laughter and applause from Sean himself. He understood the irony of the situation, how his father was now using him as a bargaining tool. I knew well enough that I didn't need to help Cole to help Sean. Sean said, "So, you're using me as a bargaining chip. Suddenly you remember that there is a son you can use for your own benefit?" "I'm not using you, Sean. I'm simply looking out for you. I am the only parent you have right now since your mother is already dead. I want the best for you. This is not about me." You are not his only parent, Cole. I'm also his mother. He is also my son. You don't have to worry about Sean. He will be staying with me full time. I will take over all of his expenses. I won't need child support from you. And I turn 18 in a few months. After that, I won't need you at all, Dad. I'm perfectly capable of earning for myself even if Evelyn can't support me. Besides, I don't want you in my life anyway. Evelyn cares about me more than you anyway. Suddenly it hit Cole that he had lost his wife, his son, and his money at the same time, and he had no one besides him anymore. He was in a very deep hole that he had dug for himself. He started to cry again and plead for mercy. He made a lot of promises which we all knew were fake. Anyway, after wasting my time for a while, I told him to get off my property and never come back. Cole left, but only after I threatened him with the police. In the months that passed, Sean stayed with me permanently. I managed to make a college fund for him so that he could pursue his dreams. He is a bright student and got into an Ivy League college. I'm so proud of him. He is now completely cut off from Cole by his own will and doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. Cole had to sell his only property to meet the debts left over. It wasn't enough, of course, and he is still paying Riley's debt. He is close to filing for bankruptcy and doesn't know what to do. I'm living my best life with work and with my new dating life. Sean visits me on his breaks and even brings his longtime girlfriend along. She's a sweet girl and I really hope they get married someday. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the outcome and am now living life in peace. Hello guys, my name's Sylvia and this is my very own mother-in-law story. Ever since I started dating Matt, my now husband, I knew that I would end up writing here. Why? Well, his mother Betty has been a witch to me from the very beginning. God, this woman is absolutely horrible. I don't know how I managed to tolerate her for so long. She is a big pain in the ass and doesn't even want to change herself. It all started when we met. Betty is an extremely judgmental and ignorant person who thinks she is better than everyone. In reality, she has a low-paying job and relies on her son Matt for financial help. When I met Betty, she seemed to be very unimpressed with me. That was okay since she didn't even know me yet, but it slowly became clear that her opinion wouldn't change at all. She said, "So, my son tells me that you work from home? I don't know what kind of job allows work from home anymore. I bet it doesn't pay above minimum wage." No, Betty, it does pay pretty well. I managed to earn $80,000 a year. I think it's pretty good enough. I don't need to be at the office for this work. Wow, they pay that much to lie around the house and be lazy. I didn't know that. I guess people nowadays don't have proper work ethics to go to the office. Not everyone can be hardworking like me. Her words and her tone were dripping with judgment. I realized soon enough that she thinks I'm beneath her and her son. Surprisingly, she never said that I didn't deserve her son. She simply kept putting me down while showing me that she was a rich and cultured woman. It was strange and annoying, but it got even stranger. She said, "What about your parents, Sylvia? Do they live around here? I never heard your surname in these parts before. It's very strange since I know everyone here." "They're not from around here. They live in a different country altogether. I moved here for college when I was 18. I have been here since then." "Oh my God, so now you're telling me that you are an immigrant. I didn't know that, Sylvia. I hear that life is very difficult in third world countries. I hope your parents are getting by fine. Do you help out?" "No, I don't need to. They manage on their own. I do send gifts and stuff sometimes." "Of course you do, Sylvia. Not everyone around the world gets to enjoy high-quality goods. Let me know if they need anything. I can always help out. I know how exciting it is to get nice gifts. Maybe I can send them some of my own." Guys, I was entertaining her bullshit for a while, but it was starting to get to me. Betty, just out of the blue, assumed that I came from a poor family and my parents don't have much money. I guess my simple looks and old car threw her off. We met at a carnival instead of an upscale restaurant, which might also have influenced her opinion, but it was Matt's idea to meet her. He said that she loves carnivals. Even if I didn't look rich, the stuff Betty was saying was downright low. Matt was off to bring us food, so I was stuck dealing with Betty on my own. As soon as Matt was back, Betty kept inappropriate comments and opinions to herself. When we were returning home, I did talk to Matt about these problems. I knew that I had to tell him the first day so that he knew how long it had been going on. I said, "Matt, I don't think I can be close to your mom after this. She is extremely judgmental and I don't think I can look past her behavior." "I'm so sorry she said these things to you, Sylvia. I wish I was around to defend you. Mom has always been like this. There is nothing I can do about it. Can you at least be civil with her? That will do for me.
Yes, I can do that, Matt. I tend to have thick skin, but your mom can be intense. I will try my best, though, I promise.
And I did try my best, trust me, guys. I put up with Betty's behavior for a long time. I did everything to make sure not to scream at Betty for being such a snob. It was freaking irritating to hear Betty talk highly of her while assuming that I am a dumb girl from a poor country. After a while, I seriously couldn't stand her anymore. So with a little push from my friends, I decided to distance myself from her. That apparently angered Betty because she thought that I was being a bad daughter-in-law. It was a complete mess and Matt didn't know what to do, so I took matters into my own hands and started to be careful around Betty. I never indulged her or protested when she patronized me. She happily blabbered about my underprivileged upbringing and seemingly bad condition while I remained silent. Things went well for a few years until me and Matt got engaged. We started to plan our wedding and Betty made a whole show about how important it is for me to hold a grand wedding for the sake of her reputation. I rolled my eyes at that. She didn't contribute a cent to the wedding, but complained about how cheap we were being with our choices. Instead of helping out, she actually pestered Matt to buy her a new car so that he couldn't spend as much on the wedding. Yes, she wanted Matt's money all to herself. The worst happened when a cousin told me and Matt how Betty planned to humiliate me at our wedding by gifting me her used car because I couldn't even dream of ever owning something that expensive. Matt refused to believe that his mom could be so cruel, but I knew that it sounded like something Betty would do, so I made a plan. I called up my parents and said, "Mom, Dad, my mother-in-law wants to humiliate me at my wedding by gifting me a used car. She is convinced that I am a good-for-nothing woman who can never buy good things in life. And she wants my guests to know that as well." "She sounds like a nightmare, Sylvia. Why does she think that you are destitute? Did you say something of that sort?" "No, I simply told them that you guys live in a different country and I came here for studies. That made her think that we were poor and belonged to a third world country. This woman is nasty, Dad." "My God, she is something. I wonder how she ended up raising such a sweet man like Matt. I see no similarities between the two at all. What are you going to do about this situation, Sylvia? Do you want to confront your mother-in-law?" I did think about it. I wanted to confront Betty and just unload on her. She had no right to behave in such a horrible way all these years. Yes, I didn't give her full information about my background, but that was because it is none of her business. Matt knew it all, and that's enough. Betty didn't even care to ask. She simply assumed the worst and ran with it. Her false assumptions made her feel superior to me, and that was good enough for her. I wanted to confront her and shatter her big ego, but I didn't do that. I had better plans. If she decided to try and humiliate me at my wedding, we didn't deserve to be confronted in private. So I said, "Actually, no, Mom and Dad. I don't want to confront her in private. She does not think twice before trying to embarrass me in front of everyone. Why should I care about her feelings and confront her in private?" "Then what do you plan to do? We'll keep you in any way we can. You just need to tell us." "That's right. We will do our best. We don't want you to take unnecessary stress. Planning the wedding is stressful enough." "Thanks, Mom and Dad. This is why you are the best. Matt still has some hope that Betty won't pull her evil plan at our wedding, but I have my doubts. So I made a plan. If Betty really does humiliate me at the wedding, I will give you a signal to go ahead with the plan." I told my parents the plan and they were happy with it. I didn't inform Matt because it actually didn't concern him as much. Plus, he was still deep in the fog to realize what a horrible person my mother-in-law was. So I didn't tell him about the plan. I knew that Betty would not control herself and fall into my trap. If she thinks she can get away with humiliating me, she has another thing coming. On the day of my wedding, everything went perfectly as planned. The day was going great and we were all having a blast. Me and Matt were super happy and excited to hear everyone's speeches at the reception. It was then that Betty decided to make her appearance on the stage. She took the mic and went on and on about how she was happy for her son and how much she struggled to make this day happen. It was boring and had this odd me vibe. But just when I started to get bored, she declared her gift to me in front of everyone. She said, "So I have decided to give you, Sylvia, dear daughter-in-law, my old car as a wedding present. I feel so good to give you something you couldn't even dream of. To be honest, this car has been my baby for over 5 years. It's a damn good car and all. But now that my son has promised to buy me a new car, I thought you should have it and consider it your wedding present from me. I'm sure you will be thrilled to own such a nice car. I think I can say for sure that I gave you the best gift of everything that you have received from your family. It's just to show you how much I appreciate you. I hope this gift can be a reminder of how generous I am when it comes to family." Betty went on and on about how she must have changed my life by giving me a freaking used car. The way she spoke about me and my family was patronizing and downright appalling. I didn't know why she thought that I didn't come from a good household. My parents don't live in the same country as me, so Betty has never met them before the wedding. Because I don't tell people details about my family, Betty automatically assumed I belonged to a poor family from a third world country or something. I could see that the majority of the guests were getting uncomfortable with Betty's speech. As I said, she is an extremely uninformed and horrible woman. Even Matt looked really ashamed of his mother and gave me an apologetic look from time to time. I gave his hand a squeeze to tell him that I had things under control. Betty wouldn't get away with humiliating my parents. I winked at my parents, who also returned my smile to tell me that they knew what to do. It was going to be showtime. As soon as Betty was off the stage after her ridiculous speech, my parents took the stage after her. They said some great words about us that brought tears to our eyes. Next, they said something that wasn't supposed to be broadcast to everyone, but the situation warranted it. They said, "So, we have been wanting to visit this country to meet with our son-in-law and his family for a very long time. Unfortunately, due to our business, it was difficult to make any plans. We are glad this wedding gave us the opportunity to meet everyone. We really love being here and making sure that our daughter is in the right hands. This wedding will be on my mind for a very long time. After all, it's my only daughter's wedding." Now, since we're already discussing wedding gifts on stage, I guess we should reveal our little gift to you guys too. We are not sure what's the norm here, so I didn't know if it would be appropriate to declare our gift in front of everyone. "Oh, it's not a problem at all. We would love to know what you're giving your daughter as a present. There is nothing to be shy about. We have gifts according to our own financial situation. I'm sure no one here would mind or judge a gift from loved ones." Betty thought she was being smart by casually hinting to everyone that my parents were ashamed to reveal their puny little gift in front of everyone. She was trying to be a patronizing little witch, and it was pissing me off. But Betty had no idea how embarrassed she was going to be after my parents revealed their gift. I already knew what they were giving me, but I told them not to talk about it at the wedding. I didn't want Betty to feel like my parents were overshadowing her gift, but after I learned and saw Betty's outrageous behavior, I told my parents to tell everyone what they were giving me, and they agreed. By my dear mother-in-law's insistence, of course. They said, "Thank you for the confirmation, Betty. I see that this is a loving and caring community. No one here really judges people at all. It's so nice to see that after such a long time." Yes, now since people here don't mind sharing details on their wedding gifts, we feel comfortable talking about it too. So me and my husband are really excited to disclose our wedding gift to this wonderful couple who got married today. For my sweet daughter and her amazing new husband, we are giving you guys a new mansion in this area. We found out that a great mansion here was up for sale, and we decided to get it for our one and only daughter. Sylvia and Matt, we really hope you like our gift.
Come on, dear. We shouldn't just keep them hanging after this. Guys, we also decided to give you a check so that you can remodel the house and add your favorite furniture to it too. You know, we wanted you guys to have a good start to your married life, so it felt right to give you the whole package. I hope you like your gift. As soon as my parents said this, Matt and I expressed our sincere gratitude towards them. Our guests also cheered and applauded their generous gift since no one was expecting it. And everyone knew what mansion they were talking about. Let me just say that it costs about $500,000. And the check was for another $20,000 so that we could get the house furnished as we liked. Matt wasn't expecting that, so he was super happy. However, his mom, Betty, looked extremely embarrassed and was even looking down at her feet. It was glorious to see Betty get a proverbial slap across her face. If you think that the fun ended there, you are wrong. Betty is one of a kind. This woman had the audacity to walk up to us and express her disappointment at my parents' gift. You would think that she finally got beaten down. Well, it turns out she's just utterly shameless. She pulled us aside after the speeches and said, "That was extremely inconsiderate of your parents, Sylvia. I am embarrassed and appalled at their behavior today." "What do you mean, Betty? My parents have been nothing but kind to everyone here, including you. What is the problem?" "You are asking me what my problem is? Well, your parents should have some etiquette and not declare their gift in front of everyone. They intentionally flashed their money and made everyone feel poor." Betty's words brought out a big laugh from within me. Seriously, guys, I couldn't help but laugh at her ridiculous words. Now, she was accusing my parents of flashing their wealth. I said, "I don't know what you're talking about, Betty. You were the one who told them that they can declare their gift in front of everyone. They just did what you did before them. How did they suddenly become inappropriate?" "Well, they knew that their gift would overshadow everyone, and it even made me look embarrassed. This is not done. Your family intentionally humiliated me." "Isn't that what your plan was, Betty?" "I knew and heard what your plan was. I knew that you wanted to embarrass me and my parents by bringing up your gift and hinting that I am not rich enough to afford good things." "Are you accusing me of insulting you today, Sylvia? My God, just because I'm a poor woman who can't give you a good gift, you are intentionally humiliating me. Matt, are you hearing this? Look at how ungrateful your wife is." "What do you want me to say, Mom? Sylvia is right. You did start this shit show first. I heard what you said during your speech. You tried to humiliate my wife and her family, Mom. Don't try to turn the narrative now. You knew what you were doing, weren't you?" Immediately, Betty knew that she had messed up and got caught. Now her own son was throwing questions that she couldn't answer truthfully. She didn't have to, though. Everyone at the wedding knew how inappropriate Betty's speech was, and they now saw Betty for who she was. But Betty still decided to play the victim card. She said, "Matt, how can you say that to your own mother? It's not my fault that Sylvia lied to me and didn't tell me that her parents are rich. I bet she was waiting for this day when she would get to one-up me in front of everyone." "Don't you dare put the blame on my wife, Mom. She never said that her parents were poor. You were the one who assumed it, and we know from a cousin that you planned this speech to humiliate Sylvia today. There is no use lying or putting blame on others." "Okay, fine. I shouldn't have done that. But Matt, what Sylvia's parents did..." At this point, I saw that Matt had enough of Betty's bullshit. I was already exhausted with her, but seeing Matt get mad at his mom was awesome. But what Matt said next surprised both me and Betty. He said, "Stop it, Mom. What you have done today was extremely embarrassing. I should have seen this coming since you kept picking on Sylvia every chance you got. I feel like I failed as a partner to her, but I won't allow this anymore. You can keep your goddamn car. My wife doesn't need your charity, and I am not buying you a new car either. What? Matt, why are you behaving like this? Why should I be punished? I know I shouldn't have made that speech, but I don't deserve so much hate. I'm your mother, Matt. You should side with me. I don't deserve to lose my new car. That's all you care about, Mom. Money and material things. I have been an ATM to you for a long time now. You go around showing off your borrowed wealth and make people feel bad about themselves. It's time you live your life according to your financial standards. I am not helping you out anymore. In fact, I think me and my wife would like some space from you. Don't expect much communication from us from now on. We will be going no contact with you. Guys, Matt stunned the hell out of us all. This was the first time I saw him truly stand up for me. I felt proud that I married the right man. I knew that already, but man, that was awesome. He didn't need any prompting at all. Everything just came tumbling out of his mouth. It was glorious, and Betty was shocked to her core. She immediately started to cry while trying to change Matt's mind. Thankfully, we were in a secluded spot where no one could see us. She did all sorts of begging and pleading, but nothing worked. Matt scolded Betty some more before dragging me away to the party. He said, "Sorry for this drama, Sylvia. I should have done this a long time ago. I really don't want to spoil our wedding, but this had to be done." Are you joking, Matt? That was the best thing you could do today. I never expected this. You don't have to keep your word, but I still appreciate it. I plan to keep my word, Sylvia. Mom had been nothing but nasty to you. I never did anything substantial to make her stop. Now it's time I take a stand. We will start a new family, and I don't want Mom's negative presence in that. I love you so much, Matt. Thanks for doing this for us. Trust me, I will remember this. I meant every word. My wedding wasn't spoiled as Betty had planned. Instead, it became one of the best days of my life. I was able to show Betty her place and get her toxic presence removed from my life. I didn't see the day getting any better, but it did, you know. Turns out people took the gift declaration a little too seriously. Our best friends finally revealed that they were funding our honeymoon. We already booked everything and they knew how much we were spending. They actually decided to give us that amount so that we could do something else with it. Betty's own mother ended up showing me the heirloom necklace that she was supposed to give me in private. Betty was getting more and more embarrassed as time passed. She kept crying in a corner, but no one went to ask her what was wrong. Her plan backfired horribly while I had a blast. Want to know what happened next? Well, true to his word, Matt went low contact with his mom. He ignored all her texts and only told her to contact us for emergencies. Betty didn't like it, of course. We also refused her car, which she couldn't give us anyway since Matt wasn't buying her a new one after all. He also stopped sending her money completely. We had an amazing honeymoon and moved into the new mansion just a month after our wedding. Betty wasn't even allowed a tour of the house or given a key. She complained, but again, no one listened to her. My parents actually ended up bettering their relationship with Matt. They already loved him, but seeing his new shiny spine, they were even more thrilled. From the money Matt and I saved by not paying his mom, we take tours to visit my parents when we can. Betty is miserable since she had to downgrade her lifestyle. She doesn't flaunt her money anymore and is desperate to have her son back. But her son is happy having only me around and has expressed his desire to stay that way, even in the future.